Hi, welcome to the Kachmann Wellness Show. Today will be about diabetes. That's what this half hour usually is all about. But I will teach you how to prevent it and how to reverse it and how to get rid of it. It's very important. Diabetes is a devastating disease. I would say 80% of the people in this community are diabetic. They've been improperly diagnosed. They need to get serum insulins, which detect the path before the sugars ever elevated. And you want to get rid of this. Get rid of it, get rid of it, and it's not that hard. I will give you the information, and I will refer you to some books we can get at the library or buy them online. I would suggest that you decide to buy one or two of them, that you go to Amazon and use the used copy. The book may cost $40, but if you buy it used, it'll look 99% like the original copy. Cost you $3 or $4. I do it all the time, so I want you to do that. So let's get on this road. First, learn a little bit about type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, the difference. Type 1, where you make no insulin and you need some insulin shots. But what I would like to tell you is you can avoid a lot of the time. A lot of people who get type 1 diabetes is because they're milk drinkers. And then they have a reaction, allergic reaction to the milk, and autoimmune reaction, and now they get type 1 diabetes. Their pancreas gets destroyed. And that is one way of doing it. Another one is if you're eating a pure vegetarian type diet, you may have a reaction to the lectins or gluten in the vegetables and have an autoimmune reaction that knocks out the pancreas, and you don't secrete insulin, and you need to take it. Also, if you're type 1 diabetic, it is important that you eat correctly, which I'm going to teach with the type 2. It also applies to the type 1, because if you don't, you may better for a while taking the insulin, but type 1 diabetics tend to die in the 60s and the 70s if they don't keep the insulin level low, as low as you can, like 10, 20 units. If you eat anything you want to, you'll be taking 100, 120 units, and you won't live that long and have complications too. So let's get on the road to the type 2 diabetes, which what you see in the city, probably 80% of the people living in Fort Wayne have type 2 diabetes, except they don't know it. 40% may be sort of aware of it. But the path to diabetes is what we're not treating, is where the serum insulin is elevated 10 to 15 years, and you get diabetes. They say, oh, it's pre-diabetes. No, it's diabetes. That's in many books, not just something that I write about. Mark Hyman, many different books, that's in there. Industry tells it that way so that you keep it and get sick and get to pay a lot of money to get surgeries and buy the drugs for the pharmaceutical companies. I'm going to teach you how to avoid all that. It's easy to prevent and reverse diabetes, yes. And there are a number of good books to read. And let's review one that I wrote. I'm not selling books here, but let's just see what I said on the cover. Is prevention is the cure. I wrote that from breast cancer. Breast cancer, almost all cancers, 90% are preventable by lifestyle. And the reason it is, what concerns me in the school system, you just pull up Allen County or Fort Wayne School or surrounding area, it's true other places too, is that they're turning our children into sugar addicts. Yeah. cinnamon buns for breakfast. Who would give their kids cinnamon buns? It turns into sugar is addictive. It's more addictive than cocaine. And you're going to feed this to your kid? Yeah, and nature arranged it that if you feed it to them, they're going to grab it. Nature arranged it because years ago when there wasn't much food available, when food was available, people ate it like anything. But then there was a time there was no food available and tough to turn it into an addict because they didn't take it all the time. But now sugar's available all the time. Fast food restaurants, you go there, have them all. You can have them all the time. In the schools, a lot of kids can afford the food at home, so they go to school to eat everything they hand them in the school. If they're cinnamon buns for breakfast and you drink the juice instead of eat the orange juice, just look at the menu. What is it? Criminal? To me it is. May not be to you, but it is to me. To me, it's criminal to addict our children, and then they develop type 2 diabetes with all its secondary diseases, which are many. But and the reason this is happening, it's a failure of public health. Public health. If I were to ask a person next door and say, "What did public health tell you about eating?" They have no idea who the person is in charge of public health. They have no idea of having seen a public message from public health. Sugar industry has bribed everybody around, and there's sugar in everything, okay? House and Senate lobbyists, they've been bribed by the sugar industry. Poor nutrition teaching, they don't teach it in the schools when they should. They used to tell kids in the schools how to brush your teeth. The bacteria that grow in there are sugar eaters, and then they spread to the brain, and they spread to the heart, spread around the body. Processed food industry, they took the coverings off the food, and the kids are eating things that had nutrients in them, but they don't get it anymore. Cow's milk, there's a lot of allergies. A lot of people don't make the lactase that digests the sugar in milk. If you take the milk of one animal and give another, it will die. As humans survive it for a period of time, you need to read Joe Keon's book, Whitewash. Just read that. You won't give your kid, if you know how to read, cow's milk again. It's a brutal book. 1,000 references at the end. I've read it a number of times. A hospital system doesn't teach people how to prevent disease. They want to treat your disease. That's how they make money. I've been there, talked to them. They're going to change. And I already mentioned the school lunch program. It turns your kid into an addict. So I wrote this book. It's brutal. It's on Amazon. I'm not here to sell it, but you could probably get it. You could get it at the library for free, or go buy it for $2 or $3, Amazon used. Another good book that I really think is worthwhile looking at is Goodbye Pills and Needles. Goodbye Pills and Needles. No pills and needles, by Tom Jelinek. Total Rethink, Type 2 Diabetes, and a 90-Day Cure. It's his story. It's his story. He was very unhealthy, very detailed, very truthful. I've read this thing probably 10 times, and you can get in the library, or maybe buy it used. It's real cheap, and it's wonderful. Inform yourself. Take back control of your health. Rid yourself of type 2 diabetes. Yes. Live to be 100 instead of dying 60 or 70s and getting your legs amputated or becoming blind. The first thing that happens when the small vessels get involved, you lose vision, then hearing as the small vessels. You're going to have strokes, increased rates of cancer, the sugar feeder, viral infections, the flu, the coronavirus. Viruses are a non-living thing. They have no metabolic system. They have to enter your cell, to gain the energy to live. And if your cell is full of sugar from diabetes, you're much more likely to get these viral infections. In New York City, 90% of the people that died when coronaviruses were really prevalent. 90% were diabetics. Yeah. So are we going to have another epidemic? Of course we are. And the flu will rise every year. We have 60,000 deaths from the flu every year. Most of them is diabetics, but the government, nobody's around telling you about it because you can prevent it. I never get a cold. I haven't had a cold in 25 years. 88 years old. Played pickleball today too, and 135 pounds. Not bragging. One example may not mean much, but I am a teacher and I live what I teach. Okay, maybe. And I used to weigh 20 pounds more 20 years ago, but I gathered all this information, and now my blood work is normal. I just had my Medicare physical, my HbA1c that measures blood sugar for 3 months was 5.4. Yes, way below diabetic range. But anyway, this book here explains in great detail, has his story too, and I think it's a fantastic book to get the knowledge. Fantastic book to get the knowledge. Another book I highly recommend is Simply Keto by Susan Ryan. Okay, Susan Ryan. She used to weigh 125 pounds more, but her husband too, and she gathered the knowledge, and this is a wonderful book. And the reason I say that is that what is keto? Ketones are small molecules of sugar, much smaller than regular glucose. They're made by the liver. And what happens is if you don't eat sugary products, your insulin level drops because the insulin is not needed to push sugar into the cell. See, all insulin does is take the sugar that's in your blood and puts it in the cell, and the cell gets fat. It's still in your body, and you're getting like this. So when these drug companies handed you insulin, it was of value because the type 1 diabetic needed some insulin. But the type 2 diabetic, it's making them sick. Yes. And I'm going to teach you that you will not need any medication, zero medication that you can prevent, okay, but you can also reverse it. So you're type 2 diabetic, you can get rid of it in about 2 to 4 weeks. Yes, that's simple. Just read some of these books for additional information. Or you can find Susan Ryan. You can find her also on YouTube. And there's psychology involved. Sugar's a drug. It makes us feel good. It's more addictive than cocaine. Yes. What you can do is by going the keto way, for 2 weeks, your addiction may show up a little bit, and you want to grab things. But she has on there also YouTube shows, Susan Ryan, Keto Karma, K-A-R-M-A. Those are YouTube shows. She talks about psychology of seeking sugar. And that's important. That's important. A lot of people get rid of their diabetes, but not only the overweight people are diabetic. 30% of the normal weight people are diabetic too. And when people tell me, "Oh, I'm not diabetic, my HbA1c was normal," your serum insulin is the test you need to do. Serum insulin elevated 10 to 15 years before your blood sugar has risen up. Unfortunately, while your insulin is up and your sugar is normal, there are tremendous changes occurring in your body of vast disease, significant number of people just grab their chest and they die. 50% of people die from heart attack have no warning, no symptoms. They grab their chest, boom, they're dead. It happened actually to a friend of mine, 15 years younger than me, yes, who always thought was eating normally, but he was married to a pediatrician, and the pediatricians have been teaching the wrong thing for years because industry are the one that provide the money to run their schools. And he played someone else, not me, tennis. I play a lot of tennis now. I play pickleball. Age 88, play 4 days a week. He went to the net, grabbed his chest, and he died, unfortunately. He probably didn't know it either. His wife was teaching the wrong thing. Although I brought up to him all the time, but it used to carry a pack in his car for cardiac arrest, and I thought it was for me because I was older. I really did. It was for him. Except he couldn't run to the car and get it. Okay, but Simply Keto by Susan Ryan. But what I like is she explains keto, the first 60, 70 pages, in great detail, so you understand it. Copies the recipes, type of foods you should be eating, where to shop, what stores to go to. Yes, and then of all things, and she recommends 3 meals a day. If you want to speed it up and get rid of it faster, eat 2 meals a day. Yeah, I do 2 meals a day. And the reason that will work for you is your body secretes about 5 hormones in the morning that keeps your blood sugar like this. You don't need to eat. In evolution, 1,000 years ago, you think people ate breakfast? No, 10,000 years ago, we started farming and people started eating breakfast. And to sell things, they would make us eat the things they were growing to make some money. Yes, you don't need breakfast. I'm not hungry. I go play pickleball around 9:30, and I don't eat till noon or so, and then I don't even feel like eating because the steroids of the stress playing these games raises the sugar level, and I'm feeling good, and I don't feel like eating lunch, but I do eat lunch. And then the lunch that I eat, it's not a sugary lunch. It's guacamole, good fats. That's omega-6 fats, are good fats. And 2 eggs, which is protein. Avocado toast. And anymore, I haven't been eating the toast, although I think it would be fine. Bread is sugar. Bread is sugar. You know what they have found recently is that the glycemic index of bread is higher than glucose. Yes, it's like 85. Bread is sugar. So if you're diabetic, don't bother with eating bread. Okay, and then she has the recipes in her breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even has some snacks, all very healthy, and she has pictures in there, and it is unbelievable. You do this for a month, you won't have diabetes. I mean, I've given this to many people who don't want to gather a lot of information. I said, use this book. Don't have to do any reading. Just follow this for 4 or 8 weeks. You will not have diabetes. Save all that money. Save all the suffering that diabetes causes. I mean, diabetes causes so many diseases: dementia, heart attack, strokes, cancer. Yes, let me read them off to you. Prevent, reverse diabetes. Okay. If you need a copy of this, find me and I'll give you a copy free. Okay. Let me read you some of this stuff. Blindness, retinal disease, memory, hearing problems, visual problems, dental disease. Dental disease is due to bacteria that are living off the bad food you're eating. Your teeth fall out. Yes. Brush your teeth twice a day. I didn't learn that till I hit college. I couldn't believe it. My parents didn't teach it to me. And I lost a cup of tea from college, and my fraternity brother says, "Rudy, brush your teeth. There are girls coming over today." That's a true story. That's a true story. And I've been brushing them ever since. I had no more dental problems. But I lost a cup of teeth before I got the knowledge. Brush your teeth twice a day. Flossing, I'm not sure it's totally necessary, but and then, you know, rinse them out a little bit. Liver disease, vascular disease, multiple cancers, kidney, bowel, hip and knee arthritis, strokes, dementia, heart attack, renal failure. Kidney disease is related to heart disease and eating the wrong food 80–90% of the time. Amputations, dislocations, all are seen in diabetics. I know a family in town here, pretty well known actually. I've been to 3 funerals. All 3 people that had their legs amputated, all eating the wrong food. And I had taught them that they didn't follow through. And that is because they're addicted to sugar. It's very addictive. So, great book to read. She has a recipe. She says the amount of carbs, the amount of steroids, protein, the amount of fat in each, and how to make them. And one page here says, instead of eat this, instead of soda, drink sparkling water, infused water. And she will use some artificial sweeteners, which I don't particularly like, because they get you still to get used to eating sugary stuff. Don't bother with them. But I don't want you to have these diseases. And this information really has been known for a long time. In England, they are way ahead of us. There's a Dr. David Unwin and his wife, Jen Unwin, who both were overweight. She's a psychologist, and he was part of the English socialized system. Dr. Unwin learned from a few patients that he saw one who was on metformin, and she was that was causing her to vomit. Turned out that was the thing that was causing her to vomit, and she vomited almost for a year. And after 1 year, her diabetes was gone. So that taught him something. And then a patient walked in one day and said, "Dr. Unwin," and he didn't recognize her. Been her doctor for 8 years. And he said, "Dr. Unwin, I don't think you know what you're talking about." But instead of being closed-minded and kicking her out, he listened to her, and he ran some studies to see if she was right. And it turned out he was right. And then he started giving that advice to his patients. But he himself and his wife, remember I said they both are diabetic, they're both overweight, they both lost weight, they all started looking like movie stars. And then he started teaching it to the socialized system, because if you don't have diabetes, you don't have to spend the money to take care of them. They were saving a lot of money. He saved the socialized system a lot of money. And with healthcare in this country being so expensive, we could easily save a lot of money if we really tackle the diabetes problem, which is what I'm doing. Matter of fact, on the 14th of January, I have an appointment with the Bowen Center, B-O-W-E-N, who have a different view of medicine a little bit, and I encourage you to go see them. I hope to turn the Bowen Center into a diabetes prevention and reversal center. Pray to God that they accept my idea on that, because that's such a wonderful place. A lot of people are there. They have the right attitude. They treat people for nothing. They take Medicaid. They take health insurance. And and we'll see what happens. I'm going to turn this into the Bowen Diabetes Show and spread the word across the world, because diabetes, 80% of the people in this town are diabetic. We have one of the unhealthiest cities in the world. We have a beautiful musical city. Chuck Sarek has brought music here and is exploding across the world. We need to do this the same with health. And believe me, I'm pushing to do it. And I hope you can help me. So, but Dr. Unwin also read a book, Escape the Diet Trap by John Briffa. You can get it online. I had one come in the mail today that is aimed at children. So one of my next shows, I'll have that on there. But this was published many years ago. And what John Briffa recommends is a way how to prevent, get rid of diabetes, escape the diet trap. And he used that to provide the information that him and his wife have, and he gives lectures across the world. You can get his videos, David Unwin, U-N-W-I-N, YouTube, a lot of YouTube shows too. Just go YouTube, David Unwin, diabetes, and he formed an organization over there, which I now belong to, a lot of free information, and so combination of the Bowen Center, Susan Ryan, myself, what I'm doing, I think we're going to attack this epidemic, which the government is not doing. I went to the school board, they're not acting, the mayor's not acting, but I'm acting. And remember this great book to read here, Goodbye, Pills and Needles. You'll save thousands of dollars and live an extra 34 years disease-free. Please join me when I play pickleball when I'm 100, maybe 120, I don't know. But thanks for listening. These are great books to have a look on. Incidentally, Dr. Unwin's story for the last thing, on page 167, in this book, 167, you have his whole story on there. It's written on there. It's in this book, David Unwin. The name of the book, Diabetes Unpacked. You can get it at the library. He has got in there his whole story in great detail. So I want you not just listen to me. I want you to listen to many people and gather a lot of information. Your life is at stake. A lot of money is at stake. Why do I do this? I love you, care about you. Namaste. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to laugh and tap dance like I do, play pickleball to feel good, because you're going to live a long time. You need something to do. I do this because I love you. Namaste. Bye-bye.